Good morning. Video diary. Day, I don't know. It's been too many days since I did my last diary entry. So I've got a bit to catch up on. Let's see, so my last diary, I was in Mojave Desert. That was the morning when I started the more difficult technical trail. And I had to stop the video recording because I needed to really focus on that trail. So yeah, I'll start there. So that trail turned out to be extremely difficult. Had I have known in advance what I was getting myself into, I would not have done it. It was incredibly strenuous. I think there was a section, maybe, it couldn't have been more than 20 miles, and it took me approximately 3 hours. There were just so many parts where the road became completely impassable, not just for me, but for any kind of vehicle. Maybe a tank, but even four-wheel drives would not have been able to do some of those sections. Just the road completely fell away in the middle, or just like there was a rust and it got deeper, and then the whole section kind of fell away in the middle, and yeah, I couldn't do it. And there were so many spots like that where I had to stop and think, what the hell am I going to do now? How am I going to get past this? Fortunately, in a lot of those spots, there was another vehicle that had done the track, I guess, not too long ago, and who had a pretty decent four-wheel drive, and just drove off the road, and it just, drove through the bush, drove on top of all the bushes and everything to get past those features and then back on the road. So that left a little trail for me. That's something that I certainly could not do on my bike. It's not big enough for me to just drive over the bushes. But this other guy did, and he crushed all the bushes and made a little path. So I was able to do that, but then it was just a question of how do I get my bike into the right place, off the road and onto this other road. And then there were other spots where it was just a really technical downhill or uphill, and I had to stop and think like, okay, what line am I going to take? And I had to study the little hill and decide, all right, this is the line. And sometimes even draw it on the ground, and then be like, all right, this is the line that I'm driving, and doing it. And there's one spot in particular like that where I was very challenged. In addition to that, there was a lot of sand. There were many deep sand sections, similar to the kind of sand that I had when I did my GS off-road training, but in some cases even deeper and softer. But above all, I guess what was really difficult was that it wasn't like, very often, for instance, in Saline Valley with deep sand, you would have a section of sand which is only like 20 meters long, 10 meters long. And you pick your line beforehand, you point straight, and you just gas a little. That way you can, get through without too much difficulty. And you didn't have to steer. But there were sections here which were really maybe 100 meters long, 200 meters long, even maybe up to half a mile of pretty serious sand, where you couldn't really stop, because if you stopped, then if you started again, the wheels would dig in. Very difficult to steer, because you don't have that traction, you don't have that control with the front end, and you just had to work through it. And I mean, I was already much more confident on sand from the previous day, and I got more confident, so just had to do it. Yeah, and lots of rust and bumps and everything. It was, how can I summarize it? I absolutely had to push myself. I did come through in the end, and I am a better off-roader for it. I do have better skills, and I do have more confidence in myself. Did I enjoy it? For the large part, yes. And hindsight, yes. At the time, not particularly. Certainly in some spots. Well, that was my morning in Mojave Desert. After that, I got back onto the Mojave Road, which I was doing the previous day, and I also talked a bit about that. That was pretty much the same conditions as yesterday. So after my strenuous morning, my hardcore off-road morning, I was a lot better equipped for that road. So nothing really went wrong there. That was fine. But I wanted to do Mojave Road all the way out, but I did it for about another hour or so. Yeah, about an hour. And then at that point, I'd been driving off-road 4 hours. It was 1 o'clock. And then I thought that I had enough. I was just exhausted. It was done. So I got back on the road and I headed up to Vegas. On the way, I saw one of these power plants where they have, it's like a solar power plant, but instead of just collecting the energy, they have lots of mirrors. The mirrors reflect the light up into a central point, which I think boils water and then, of course, turns turbines. And that was amazing. That was so cool because you could see it from really far away. This point in the middle where all the light goes, it was really bright, like extremely bright. And there were about 3 of them all next to each other. This is north of Mojave Desert if anyone is interested. And it was just, when I first saw it, I don't know how many miles away, quite a lot. I just thought like UFOs, aliens. I never saw anything like that. That was crazy. And the highway, the I-15, which goes from LA to Vegas, it goes right past there, and you can see it really well. And that was awesome. That was super cool. I want to go and read a bit more about that right now. I mean, I assume that's what it was. You know, I could be wrong. But, oh, that looks nice. Dirt road. Yeah, that was cool. And then Vegas. So, originally I just planned to overnight one night in Vegas. I stayed off strip and get all my stuff done, just video editing, clean my clothes, do some shopping, all that stuff. I did that stuff. I did it mostly in the morning. I went to bed early, got up 6 a.m. and got my stuff done. And I got to about midday and I got on my bike, ready to go to come here. And I was not into it. I was not interested. I was, for the first time on my trip, I got on my bike and I wasn't feeling it. I was like, nah, this is, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it today. Which is really strange because every other day, as soon as I get on my bike, I'm in the mode. That day, I'm like, nah, not happening, not interested. This is, as of today, this has become work. Or on that day, let's say, put it that way. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a day off. I had been riding something like 10 days in a row, 12, 14, I don't know, a lot of days in a row. And yeah, I needed a weekend from my trip. I needed a holiday from my holiday. So first I went to a cafe, had like a brunch, and then I booked myself into Treasure Island, casino on strip, and I went and just chilled out there. I didn't do any gambling. I'm not into that. That's not my thing. I just wanted somewhere nice to day where I could watch some YouTube or have a bit more time for my emails or, I don't know, play some computer games on my laptop. That's more or less. But most of the time I spent video editing actually, but that was also good. And I had a bit of a stroll at the strip at night time. That was nice. Man, when I see these kids out at, late at night on the strip, all dressed up, all fancy to go to their clubs, off their chops, drunk, and the guys and the girls all like with their makeup and their tiny skirts and stuff. I think like, wow, I'm so glad that I don't do that anymore. Just not my thing. Not the slightest. These expensive clubs, crappy music, just wankers, and oh god. It was funny to see that through different perspectives. Because I've been that guy so many times. Walking around the strip late night, drunk, harassing people or being harassed. Yep. So yesterday I went to, I got back on the road. So yeah, Saturday was my day off. Sunday I got back on the road. I went to, what's it called? Hoover Dam. Hoover Dam was good. Walked around, took photos. There was a German tour group. I just kind of like tagged along, pretended that, and just didn't say anything. Kind of, got a nice little free tour, or like a section of it at least. Didn't say, I don't want to be too obvious about it. I didn't tell Tony. And that, like to stand next to these German people for no particular reason. And then I came here, which is Lake Mead, recreational area, or national preserve, whatever. This is a lake that's created by the dam. The largest man-made lake in the world, I think. It's pretty nice here. Oh, as you can see, nice mountains. Nice roads as well. A lot of motorcyclists out on the road yesterday. And then I camped last night in this area. It was like a little, it's called Echo Bay, with camping. I got going really early this morning. Partially to the sunrise, because the sunset was also just exquisite. But also partially because I didn't pay the camping fee and I didn't want to get busted. Look at that guy. Hardcore. And now I'm on to the Valley of Fire. I intend today to end up in Utah, Zion, Monday, so hopefully I can just actually get camping inside the national park. This has been a very long diary entry, but I started reviewing my older ones and I really like them, so I'm going to talk more. But that's enough talking for today. And yeah, hopefully I'll be a little bit more consistent. I mean, it doesn't matter if I miss a couple of days, especially if I'm not writing. So yeah, that's how it is. Okay, end of diary. Bye bye.